Hey Slotheads, so I was out last week traveling for work through the Midwest, and I stopped in a bunch of hobby shops as I was driving around through to see my territory, and I had sort of three things on my wish list for different hobby shops that so far I couldn't find locally, but basically I was looking for either a pack of more straights to add onto my design right now, or one of those crossover bridges. I wanted to see if I could use that instead of just slowly sloping, just to add a little variety, test it out, see what it was like. Or the last thing on my list that I was kind of iffy about, wasn't quite sure if I wanted it or not, but thought it'd be pretty cool, is adding a pit lane and a pace car. And so, lo and behold, one of the shops I stopped into had a pit lane and a pace car. So I grabbed it. But now that I have all this stuff and I want to implement it on the track, we've got to do a little bit of redesign to make this pit lane fit into the track. So as you can see, this main fueling pit right here, right before it, we have a lane change that goes to the outside. And so if that pace car comes through here, it's going to go to the outside lane and then dodge this pit lane. So mission accomplished there. As it goes around, it's going to come back around to this side, hit this lane change, go to the inside, and then boom, as it comes around that corner, it's going into the correct safety car pit lane. It's out of the way, and the race can resume. Basically, the way it works is as long as you have an outside to in just before the correct pace car pit lane, and then an inside to out right before the fueling pit stop, it will always avoid the fueling pit stop and go into the pace car pit stop. So that's how this works. Pretty simple, but it's a little hard to explain. I searched a lot on the forums on how to get this to work, and this is the best way I can come up with the parts I have. But hopefully that gives you an idea of some changes you might need to make to a track to make the two pit lanes work. So next we'll go over to Smart Race, and I'll show you how the settings just need to be tweaked a little bit. Sometimes it's default as it is, but I made some changes, so I'm going to change them back to the settings you do need to make sure that you can use Smart Race to deploy that safety car when you need it. So I'll be right back when we get over there. Okay, so now we're over in the Smart Race app, and just two really simple, really easy things that we got to change here. And so we'll just go over to the settings page, and this is the settings for the entire app. But the first one is on the race screen. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a button that says Display ESC button. So that's the safety car button. So that will display on your race screen. And so we want to set that to green so that it's showing and we can use it. We're going to save those settings. Oh, we didn't need to save. And then we go down to driving, and on here we want to make sure that this one, ignore safety car, is pressed. So you see that guy, we want to make sure that that's green so that it does not count the laps of the safety car, and it doesn't register that as using fuel or counting laps or anything like that. Setting records, which it won't set records, but we want to make sure that it's not calculating that into the race. And so that's the super simple steps here. We're going to get over to the track here in just a minute, and we're going to program the pace car. So first thing we're going to do is actually program the pace car. So you're going to set it on the track, and when you press the code button once, it programs to a controller. When you press it twice, that's programming to be a ghost car. When you press it the third time, so 3 lights there, that's when you get to set it as a pace car. So first thing you do, just like when you're programming a ghost car, is you press that lane change button. The lights are going to go up. It's going to give you a little beep. Lights are going to go off down to 1, and it's ready to go. So just like a ghost car, you're going to set the pace. So you're going to go around the track at a reasonable speed. It's kind of tricky because you want it to be slow enough that it works as a pace car, but fast enough that it gets all the way into the pit lane. And so I'll show you what that means here in just a minute. So now you'll see, just like on the design that we showed you earlier, but the pace car is in its correct pit lane. In order to deploy it, You're just going to press the pace car button on the control unit, and it's going to go out. Lights are going to come on, and it's going to roll around the track and randomly switch lanes. So just like as if it was a ghost car, it's going around, and the idea is that all the cars stack up behind it and are ready to go. I'd say we've got the whole crash cleaned up and everything's ready to go. Everybody's stacked up and ready. And so you can press that pace car, the pace car button again. The lights are going to go off, which means, hey, this is the last lap. It's going to go around and switch every single lane changer until it makes it into that pit. So there it goes, into the pit, and it's stopped and out of the way. So it's as simple as that. And as we just do one more lap and I show all the hard work, I put that in quotation marks. Just want to say thanks for coming by. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.